There is about 70 different types of greys. The greys are on average 3 to 6 feet tall, but some grow up to 7 to 8 feet tall. According to some sources, the greys are also considered reportoids having reptilian DNA. We Anunnaki genetically modified the royal line of greys, known as Zetas, Rumardians, with human DNA to look more human. These greys were installed as kings and pharaohs, by us, throughout mankind's history. The greys who are inducted into the Orion program, otherwise known as Orion Greys, are under the direction of the Cabal, which is a race of Draco-reptilians that often engaged in abductions and experimentations. The Greys, however, are originally known as Rumardians, who are a benevolent and curious race, when not indoctrinated. They are thought to be more helpful in humanity's spiritual progression. The relationships between reportoids and greys are very strained, as the reportoids, on their goal of conquering planets, have enslaved the greys. The oldest race of greys come from the Ida galaxy. They are called the Asgards. They go back about 200 billion years. They didn't look like this at first, they looked more humanoid with blue or green skin. Their bodies are muscular and have a hump in the middle of their head. They were 5 feet tall with no hair. They have 9 leaders, but the main captain name is Thor. They created an advanced machine to upgrade their shell or bodies, and this created a disease. They were later taught about cloning and transferring of essence to the clone or avatar. They created these muscle-bound shells that were 7 feet tall. They later started making smaller clones that were 4 to 5 feet tall. We taught them about cloning when we lived with them in the Ida galaxy. Because of this, the Asgards love us, the Rizkians. They feel like they owe us a favor. Plus they needed us to ascend. So they help us time to time when we need them. They live in the 5th dimension. Their ships are some of the best on this side of the universe. They can fly 1,000 times the speed of light in the 6th. They help us to protect planets, star systems, and galaxies. They are about 1 million years ahead of humans in technology. They are not really who you're calling the Greys. We left them and went to Pegasus, but they remained our long-term friends. When we moved to the Milky Way, we Rizkians needed a race of beings who were able to go to faraway galaxies and planets to observe and to research. We breathe hydrogen and couldn't go to planets, which had different types of conditions that were not good for us without having on equipment or being in our ships. So we created a new race called the Rumardians. They are the Guardians. This is a picture of their leader Krill, who is 7 feet tall. The first group was created on Nibiru in the laboratory called Shimti. We later moved this lab to the planet Lamuo, which you Earth humans call Mars. We begin creating them there. This is why they are called our Rumardians and the bad ones are called Markabians. Some Greys came from the star constellation of Auriga in the Capella star formation, and some from Arcturus and Pleiades. Krill and his people have a base in Capella and Elnath. They were created originally by us, the Anunnaki, to be scouts and were faithful workers that were freed after their service. The Reptilians captured them and ruled them from Rigel and Betelgeuse, Beltrax, Mentaka, Alanum, and Alitak in the Orion star constellation. The first 200 was created on Nibiru, and we use these to start the cloning on Mars 30 billion years ago. Krill is the leader of the Rumardians Greys from Zeta, son of Haniel. The Rumardians are the ones who pilot the wheel, which the messenger Elijah Muhammad called the mother plane. This is Imartian, Krill's first cousin, a prominent leader. He is an original 7 feet gray. He has over 100 million beings under him. He is the leader of the Imartians and the Solipsi Rai Greys, also called the Emerthur, a 22 billion year old race from the constellation of Cygnus. Cygnus A is at a distance of 730 million light years from Earth. Cygnus is a northern constellation on the plane of the Milky Way, deriving its name from the Latinized Greek word for swan. Cygnus is one of the most recognizable constellations of the northern summer and autumn, and it features a prominent asterism known as the Northern Cross. These are the Greys that crashed in Roswell, New Mexico on July 7, 1947. Imartian came to Earth himself to collect the bodies. He was recorded and filmed at Area 51. These people didn't want to give Rumardian back his people without Rumardian giving them the secret to their technology. Area 51 and S4 secret government bases hidden in the desert of Nevada. 1947, when a spaceship crash-landed on the Foster Ranch outside of Roswell, New Mexico. In the crash, 2 aliens were killed, while a third was seriously injured. The crashed ship, the 2 bodies and the injured alien were brought to a U.S. Air Force installation outside of Rachel, Nevada called Homey Airport, which became later known as Area 51. The survivor died within a matter of weeks. This is when Rumardian came to collect the bodies and the craft, but was refused by the secret government. Over the next 49 years, scientists at Area 51 studied the vessel and the alien corpses. However, none of the technology of the ship could be accessed. The Solipsi Rai Greys are very intelligent and non-emotional beings. The Solipsi Rai are a peaceful and harmless race that have no colonies and focus more on the development of other planets and races. They do, however, have one powerful weapon to protect themselves from invaders and is capable of destroying entire ships. They have also stated that the human race still has 645 options for the future of their planet, with the correct options depending on their ability to develop space travel and to unite as one. The 200 original were 7 feet tall and the masters of the little ones. We made these beings from other beings who were some of the first reptilians called Meldekians. They were water beings who lived on a planet called Meldek before it was destroyed 24 billion years ago by Nibiru. We took DNA from these reptilians on Meldek to help with the breeding of the Rumardians. The Masmukia beings are an intelligent life form that have advanced cities underwater. The troglodyte are 4 feet and their masters, the Meldekians, are 7 feet. Their masters lived on the planet Meldek until the mothership Nibiru crashed into it, killing 2/3 of the population. Their planet was destroyed by mistake and blew up. The warrior clan called the Ninga, or Ninja as in Ninja Turtles. If you look close, you can clearly see that they look like turtles without a shell. These beings survived and went to live on Earth in the Bermuda Triangle underwater, where they built advanced cities. The Bermuda Triangle, also known as the Devil's Triangle, is a loosely defined region in the western part of the North Atlantic Ocean where a number of aircraft and ships are said to have disappeared under mysterious circumstances. They later were given their own star system called Zeta Reticuli, which was built by us as a gift to them for destroying their planet and wiping out 2/3 of their people. From the 200 original Rumardians, Krill being the first. We begin cloning and making smaller clones to be helpers for the 200 masters. Krill is first in command, Alamar second, and Sod third. Krill is the lord of these 200 masters. Each master has millions of smaller clones working under them. These smaller clones were created on Mars. They are the first Martians. This is the type most commonly referred to as the Greys. They come from the Zeta Reticuli star system, the Bernard star, neighboring the Orion area. They function in a mode that is apparently military in nature, with a rigidly defined social structure that holds science and conquering worlds to be the prime movers. They have evolved beyond the need for reproductive systems or digestive systems and reproduce by cloning. Their genetics are partly based on the Meldekians and the insectoid genetics. These beings are the little beings. These are what the government is calling gray aliens. They stand 4 feet tall, weigh about 40 pounds, human-like with smooth gray-colored skin, enlarged hairless heads, and large black eyes with no eyelids. They have 5 fingers. Some have 4 or 3 fingers. Originally bred by us to scout different worlds. The small ones have been seen by billions of people. Gray aliens, also referred to as Zeta Reticuli, they are extraterrestrial beings who live in the 5th dimension. The original breed are benevolent. These beings were later captured and reverse engineered by the Draco reptilians. You have about 70 to 72 different species now of Greys. The body of Greys is more or less considered a vessel for higher dimensional beings to act in a lower density environment like the Earth. The high being can leave or invade this vessel according to their will, much like an avatar. It is mostly designed to be a tool, for example to steer spaceships, like an interface between an higher dimensional being and a machine. This is a Grey, the government named J-Rod, who worked at Area 51 for over 50 years. He is from a race called the Ebon Greys from Zeta Reticulum. They are a spin-off the Solipsi Greys. His ship crashed on Earth in 1953 during a magnetic storm. Ebons are from the Zeta Reticuli star group, a binary system having two suns together. Their height ranges from 3.4 to 3.8, with some exceptions. Their skin is more of a tan and butterscotch blend in color, and like most Zetas, they wear black lens protection over their slightly protruding round eyes. In 1965 the US government entered into a program referred to as Project Serpo, which was an exchange program in which 12 humans and 12 Ebons exchanged planets to learn more about the planet and its inhabitants. J-Rod was head of this project at Area 51. He was forced to work with the secret government, who claimed to be helping him with a disease he and his people were suffering from. He was to assist the Earth scientists with knowledge of aliens and their crafts. J-Rod is actually a visitor from the future. Several Grey species would be descendants from mankind, and they would now be visiting you from the future to so-called correct some mistakes that ultimately will have a negative impact on the possibility of the future Grey humans to survive. Some Greys are like plants and eat by photosynthesis. Their food is water and sunlight. Their big black eyes are like solar panels. Their body is an advanced suit. They take in sunlight through their eyes. The Rumardians is one of these races. Some Greys can't do this because ultraviolet light is harmful to them. Some Greys have multiple stomachs like cows. They chew their cud, but they don't eat it by mouth. They absorb it through their skin. These are the Markabian Greys from Orion. This is Iwasians from a race of Greys who are malevolent demon, bad angel, bad ET disagreeables. He is the being who taught Crowley. He worked for Baal II in command of Hell Low 4th dimension. They chose to fight with the dragon and his people. They are a branch of Markabians from Orion called Iwasians. They are Markabians Greys who are controlled by Reptilians. Iwas, the leader of the Markabians, wears a padded advanced suit and a glitter cape made from some type of advanced material. He is feminine looking, his expression is also difficult to ascertain, having a mix of happiness, sadness, grief, and anger, and is referred to as having emotions completely different to humans. Iwas judges things on whether it has value or not. Iwas has a casual way of talking, making interjections such as oops as well as swearing. Iwas also talks in a way that includes terms and sounds which are distorted when spoken, as if the oral law of the world cannot accommodate the sound, or it is a form of its own angelic language. They are telepathic and speak a language of symbols. He has a reddish skin tone and no hair. He can hologram his appearance to be a tall, dark man in his 30s with the face of a savage king. Iwas instructed Crowley to return to Egypt, where he would be given 3 signs. Crowley said that Iwas was his guardian angel, and claimed that he was the messenger of Horus, though Iwas served the demons called the Draconians. Iwas and his people are the bad Greys who invaded Mars and caused a nuclear war, almost destroying the ozone and surface of Mars. There were also other species of extraterrestrial-like Greys, which some dinosaurs evolved from, like the Hyzalophodon and the Tyrannosaurus rex. They are a semiotic echelon who harvest biological materials. Semiotics is the study of sign processes, which are any activity, conduct, or process that involves signs, where a sign is defined as anything that communicates a meaning that is not the sign itself to the sign's interpreter. A echelon is a level or rank in an organization, a profession, or society. A formation of troops, ships, aircraft, or vehicles in parallel rows with the end of each row projecting further than the one in front. Iwasians is an extraterrestrial life form who were kicked out of the 5th to the 4th dimension. Iwas is one of the original 200 Greys who were 7 feet tall. The small ones are biorobots and are remote controlled by the 200 originals. They are the leaders or kings of 200 kingdoms. 80 of these kingdoms broke off and chose to fight with the dragon and his people. I was the leader of the Markabian Greys. These little suckers are dangerous. The Markabian Greys are a very aggressive race. They don't like humans. They are the four-finger Greys. Some of them look different depending on what series they are. As the years went on, they made more upgrades to them. These are the new types. They are called the Markabians. The Markabians Greys, the short, big heads, are mercenaries. They interface with humans in secret societies and within the military/establishment complex. An interconnected web manipulates the surface Earth cultures. It should be noted that not all the crossbreeds are steeped, saturated, in elitism. They are biogeneric bred from the cow and other species here on Earth, as well as mechanical and computerized technologies. Their skin colors are grayish blue or reddish brown, and the texture is smooth. They have no hair on their body, and they have big heads. They are hydrocephalic. Because of their eyes, which have no pupils making them nocturnal, they look like a human insect and they are sensitive to ultraviolet light. The government captures some and used ultraviolet light to torture the Greys in the interviews at Area 51S4. Their large black eyes are cow eyes. They have 2 slits for nostrils, and their mouth is a small slit. They appear to have no ears, and their hands are web-like, with only 4 fingers. Their arms are long and muscular, reaching just above the knees. Their hands consists of 4 webbed fingers, their torso is human-eye on appearance, their legs are short and muscular. They have no reproductive organs or reproductive capabilities. They are bred by the cloning process, and oftentimes they abduct white human women, only to remove the fetus, to breed their own species. They are the ones who are reverse engineered by reptilians called the Markabians. They are also referred to as the Aryan Crusaders. These beings are not nice. They eat by absorbing solution through their skin. They swim in huge tanks of human blood, human body parts and pus. It also has animal blood and animal body parts in it as well. When there is no tank, they eat the human vital fluids by rubbing a liquid protein formula on their bodies. Aside from feeding off of human and animal proteins and fluids, they also feed off the life energy, the vital essence or soul energy of humans, as do other reptilian species. This is why those humans seen working with the Greys, implanted and programmed drones, whether willingly or unwillingly, have appeared lifeless and emotionless to the witnesses who observed them. The Markabians Greys are reportedly extremely deceitful, and although they act on logic, to them it is logical to use extremely complex forms of deception to bring about their goals. They are the most commonly observed alien entities encountered during UFO events. These are the ones working with the government. This is why you see cows with the inside removed. They use the organs because they have the same organs as cow organs. Then you have the original Greys who work on behalf of Anu. They are telepathic. They have a slit for mouths, no ears, no internal or external reproductive organs. The 200 original have reproductive organs. We're gonna be getting into that. Overstand, these beings clone themselves. Hitler was already meeting with Greys and making deals. They gave Hitler technology. The German met with these beings in 1945. The German are descendants of the Aldebaranians, so-called white folk from the Aldebaran star system. As you can tell, the one picture with Eisenhower was photoshopped from the Hitler one, but the meeting really happened with Hitler and Eisenhower. Greys meeting with President Eisenhower at Dulce Air Force Base in New Mexico. They gave them an underground base in New Mexico, Utah, Nevada, and Macon, Georgia. The smell was getting bad in Macon, so they moved them to another base in Puerto Rico and Texas. They also gave the government this technology and showed them how to clone as well in 1953.